How long have you been crossing Angus with Wagyu?
Since '94 was our introduction to Wagyu breeding, and we were approached by somebody who has become a long-term friend, a woman from Queensland who travelled around the whole area meeting with every Angus breeder in the district, and we were the only mugs to take it on. And we knew nothing about Wagyu, but AI'd our commercial Angus heifers to get a 60-cent premium over and above what our steers were worth. We just did it as a commercial incentive, and just became interested in Wagyu and the meat quality, and we kept on going from there, from '94 onwards.
What advice would you give someone contemplating doing the same as that in terms of breeding for the market?
The Wagyu industry, the F1 industry, has gone through somewhat of a roller coaster ride, and it's been a fantastic experience and a rewarding experience for us. I would not jump into that enterprise now without thinking very deeply about it. It's Wagyu are a wonderful breed of cattle, and their first and foremost attribute is meat quality. And to go into this enterprise, the first thing you've got to think about is where you're going to market your cattle. And it's no use thinking, well, they're calving these breeds, so I'll just do that and I'll get the calves in the ground and then I'll sell them. You really need to think very deeply about your markets, whether you're just going to breed F1s, and if you do, who you're going to sell them to, and just get that. That's number one. And having some knowledge about the markets is a start, and then you need some knowledge about genetics. And Wagyu are a breed with 3 distinct strains of cattle that excel in different parts of the meat game. Like the full bloods are fantastic for full blood meat production. The say Shamani strain are ideal for, or high content Shamani are fantastic for full blood meat production. Whereas for F1 production, it's imperative that we use really high content Tajima Wagyu that we would like to see them with higher growth rates and more milk, but to put them over British breed cows, and I suggest they virtually always be Angus, you really need that high impact of high content Tajima to get the adequate marbling expression.
Can you describe a little bit more this Tajima strain you talk about?
They're the cattle that commercial Australian cattlemen hate the look of. They are smaller growth, smaller frame, smaller growth rate, light boned, but have the absolute highest meat quality. And it's just a fact of life that they are the genetics that we need to bring about the heterosis with Angus cows and the Tajima cattle gives absolutely adequate growth rates. They're not dismal growth rates. We could use other strains of Wagyu cattle like Kadaka and Shamani, and our growth rates would be much more. They'd be pretty big cattle, but we wouldn't get anywhere near as consistently as higher quality marbling as we do with the Tajima.
What advice would you give to someone going into such a program in terms of sourcing genetics? Is AI a good idea, or are there bulls that can deliver these genetics?
I think if you're prepared to take on AI commercially, I think it's ideal, because using proven, there's nothing better than using proven industry size. And that's something that I found hard to get over when I first started using Wagyu genetics. There was no breed plan type system, so there was no information. So progeny testing and carcass performance is really important. So AI from proven size is fantastic if you're able to do it. If not, you've got to use really highly proven genetics that will hopefully give you consistence. And you know, it's a long time frame before animals are bred and carcasses graded. So,
what are the most important things you've learned about producing F1 beef for the market?
I think attention to detail and integrity, guaranteeing the integrity of your product is paramount. It's understanding genetics and the way those genetics will suit a certain regime and a certain market.
What would you consider as the single most important factor in successfully breeding Wagyu Cross Angus?
I think knowing your market and being prepared to put in the attention of detail to cross all your T's and dot your I's to really get there. These cattle can't be put out on a stock route and jammed up in a tough season. They've got to be backgrounded extremely well. They've got to be bred extremely well out of a good cow base by the best genetics you can afford, I guess. The most reliable, high Tajima, high marbling, proven genetics.